On this fish-flinging episode of MythBusters, Brian and John build fearsome rigs
Just a blur of meat.
to test a myth about killer carp.
What this myth is about is an unlucky water skier who gets hit by a 2-pound fish
Here we go!
square in the chops. Boom! Oh! What we want to know is, would that collision be fatal?
3, 2, 1!
Oh! And it's time to get your metal face on.
This is a pretty interesting myth.
What music that is, my goodness.
It's whether listening to aggressive music while driving
I wish I knew the lyrics so I could sing along to this.
makes you an aggressive driver.
I want to run the puppy over, but I'm not.
Who wants to run over a puppy?
First up, the story of a water sports carp-tastrophe. Picture the scene. The sun is out, the lake placid, and a group of friends head out water skiing. The skier is skimming along at 25 miles an hour when suddenly the lake's surface erupts. Silver carp are flinging themselves from the water. Unable to dodge the bombardment, the hapless skier catches a 2-pound fish right in the kisser. Question is, would this be a mortal mishap? The MythBusters have tackled up to investigate this fishy tale of killer carp. But will they hook a whopper?
Well, this one's really about the fish that got away.
Yeah, well, I mean, someone released the silver carp into our ecosystem, and they're wreaking havoc.
Yeah, not just for the environment, but for boaters everywhere.
And water skiers.
Can you imagine you're skiing along and then boom, 2-pound fish hits you in the face? That could do some serious damage.
Yeah, I can't really imagine it, but I think we should test it.
Absolutely.
Shouldn't you have, like, line on that rod?
Nah, man, catch and release.
These are the killer carp in question, an invasive Asian species. Many fish leap out of the water to evade predators, but Asian carp also get spooked by passing boats. And boy, can they jump. Leaps of up to 10 feet have been recorded, and they're present in such vast numbers in the Illinois River, they're considered a hazard to water traffic.
Oh, wow.
What is it, like 20, 30 fish jumping out at a time?
I think that's an underestimate. That looks like 40 or 50 at some time.
It would seem almost impossible to water ski without being hit by one at least.
You can certainly see where this myth comes from.
Yeah, and to get us started, we know that we have a water skier who's going 25 miles an hour. He gets hit in the face by a 2-pound carp and it snaps his neck.
Yeah, but if you watch carefully, these carp are coming out not straight up, but at an angle. So it's a little more than 25 miles per hour.
Well, then we should watch these videos and see if we can calculate how fast these fish are actually shooting out of the water.
To do this, the guys pick a flying fish,
Oh, that one.
Perfect.
measure how far it leaps on screen,
It's our height reference for distance.
and scale this up to get a real-world distance. Then they use the fixed frame rate of the video to work out the horizontal velocity of the leaping fish.
We've analyzed our fish video frame by frame, and what we're seeing is by the time those carp get up to head height, it's about 10 miles per hour worth of additional impact. So we're gonna take that 25 miles per hour of our skier, add it to the 10 miles per hour of the fish, and that's a 35 mile per hour carp to the face.
John's next job is to design a rig to fire a 2-pound carp at this impact velocity.
We have 4 pieces of rail to which a rolling carp cart will fit into. Attach bungees from the frame to the cart, drop a fish in, pull it back, and bam! Bob's your uncle. Until he got into that horrible water skiing accident.
To match the environmental conditions described in the myth as closely as possible, the guys will conduct final testing out on the water, mounting the carp catapult on the back of a boat and firing it at a water skiing target.
This is our water skier. Well, most of them, obviously. This is his head. It has a composite. It's the same density and strength as bone, and it's made by a company that specializes in that. It's got a full spine, anatomically correct, with all 7 cervical spine intervertebral discs that are actually flexible. Inside that is a spinal cord made from a glow stick. So if he gets injury, it's gonna show us right away. Tendons, ligaments, and muscles, that way he can hold up his own head just like a real human. It's gonna mount on that body, nice and strong, and have fish flung at it.
So after Buster takes a fish to the face, an examination of his anatomically correct spine should reveal if any injury is fatal.
Hey, you wanna be hit by fish? He's ready for the test.
This is the boat we'll be mounting our fish-flinging rig to. Nice, isn't it? And from here, it gives us the perfect vantage point at shooting water skiing Buster that'll be towing behind this boat. I hope he likes sushi, delivered directly to the face. Yeah, that'll work fine.
But before the fish flinging begins, it's time for some rock and roll research into a myth about highway headbangers. Sure, a moshing motorist looks hostile, but can their aggressive music actually cause them to drive more aggressively? The MythBusters investigate if rock and roll road rage is a bona fide condition or a rocker-phobic work of fiction.
So, Doc, can the music you choose really affect your state of mind and your aggression while driving?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I know you're not driving now, but we should test your vitals against 2 different kinds of music and see if they change.
Good.
Good? All right, cue soft music, please. Okay, please cue aggressive music. Well, that's interesting.
What's it show you?
When you were listening to the calm music, you were 151/98. But then with the aggressive music, it jumped to 167/104. And your pulse from the calm to the aggressive music went from 76 to 83.
This tells me 2 things.
Yeah,
1, the myth is gonna be interesting to explore.
that's true. What's the second one?
Don't quit your day job as a Mythbuster, because as a doctor, you kind of suck.
I guess that's fair. But you're the paramedic. Why am I even doing this? To test this myth, we're gonna need a group of unsuspecting volunteers that we can hook to scientific measuring equipment and have them drive through our course once with calm music and then drive through the same course with aggressive music and see if there's any difference.
Will aggro tunes inspire aggro drivers? Before we find out, the guys need to nail down a method to physiologically measure a road rage reaction. And neuroscientist Bill Scott has got just the tool for the job.
Tell us how we find out that the brain is being aggressive.
Typically, when people start getting angry or frustrated, experiencing a lot of negative emotions, the left hemisphere starts to shut off. That's a part of the brain that makes a lot of decisions. And the right hemisphere starts to activate. So what we're going to be looking at is the difference between activation in the left versus the right hemisphere. We're going to be placing sensors that go to an amplifier that amplifies the signals 1,000,000 times. See how the signals are the same in both hemispheres? That's kind of a normal thing. When people are getting more frustrated, we're going to be seeing higher spikes on this left hemisphere, like that.
So if this was while they were driving, that spike means a little bit of road rage?
Yes, more anger is getting induced and frustration at that particular point.
I like it.
Bill has given us a great system that will let us keep track of the aggression levels inside of the drivers' heads while they're being exposed to aggressive music. But he also has something called a performance game, which is basically a personality test that lets you know pretty well if you're gonna be prone to road rage. And I'm gonna take it. Did I mention I'm from New York? Is that my brain?
That is your brain.
It did something.
It definitely.
Oh!
Of all the brains, we should have never looked inside John.
Right.
You've opened a door that you now cannot close. The performance game is a way to measure how well I handle my frustration.
There's your first letter.
When an L comes up, I'll hit the left button. When an R comes up, I'll hit the right button. When a P comes up, I'll just pause. Yep. And depending on how well I do or how many mistakes I make, there will be a corresponding bloop spike in my EEG, which is an indicator of how frustrated I'm getting. Ugh.
Oh, man. That was tense.
And on the overall test EEG, John's fiery New York temperament stands out like the Manhattan skyline.
Judging by your result, I'd guess you're probably one of those who would likely get really frustrated when you drive.
That seems pretty accurate.
Seems right writing to myths with you.
Shut up, Brian!
Next up, Big Tex.
My run through the game was pretty calm and pretty accurate. There wasn't much sign of the left hemisphere spikes that indicate the aggression, which would mean that I'm likely to be a pretty calm driver. And I'm gonna agree with that.
So, the performance test has provided a fair benchmark of both John and Brian's dispositions. And it'll prove a handy tool come myth testing time.
We're gonna have our 5 volunteer drivers play this performance game to see if they have a high frustration personality like me, or a low frustration personality like the guy who put the Zen and Tex in over here.
That way we can compare their driving while listening to passive music to their driving while listening to aggressive music and see if they drive more aggressively.
And if personality type has any bearing on this.
Namaste.
Still to come, John and Brian set up a driving course, which is fiendishly frustrating
My oranges from shopping.
and horn-honkingly annoying.
Get out of the road, Grandma!
To test if raucous rock really can fuel road rage.
Makes me want to drive fast.
And the Carp are lubed, locked,
Oh, you hear the winch?
and loaded for a fishy flingathon. John and Brian are on a head-banging, myth-busting mission to discover if listening to angry music makes drivers more prone to road rage. They found the right tech to record the brainwave spikes associated with road rage.
Is that my brain? It did something. Oh!
Now, all they need is a safe place to wire up and test a bunch of volunteer drivers.
Like this, a completely abandoned neighborhood, which we're gonna have as our playground for the next couple of days.
So we can conduct a controlled, safe, and quite frankly, super dope experiment. It's perfect.
The plan is for 5 test drivers to navigate a set course through the abandoned suburb twice.
Way over.
Once listening to calm music, and then again listening to aggressive music. The drivers' levels of road rage will then be compared between the 2 laps.
We figured out what roads we're gonna use. Now we just gotta figure out what obstacles we're gonna put on it to make that little driving experience just a little bit more aggravating. All right, so we're in the tech tent right here, and I think we can just go ahead and start right in front of it.
Oh, okay, we're good.
And they get to here.
This just became a toll road. Oh, man, here you go. I got 35 cents.
I appreciate it. They'll come in and they'll go, and then we'll let them free after 3 times around. They finally get set free to go out that way.
Great.
So they're coming down the road and, oh, this is perfect, a pre-existing stop sign.
Maybe something like an Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, a little extra aggravation?
Yeah.
What is that, platypus crossing?
It could be anything. That's the point.
All right, stuck at the Animal Crossing and then come around this corner. They got a little freedom. And right about here, you gotta have a construction zone.
So instead of narrowing cones where they think they can make it,
But they can't. You get free of that cone going, oh man, I can't believe I hit that cone. Oh! I think stoplight so they can think about the cone they hit. I don't think we can let them get away with that green light though. We're gonna have to put something right behind it. As soon as it's green, still aggravated. Oh no, my oranges. Oh,
you got the driver be like, get out of the road, Grandma!
I'm sorry, sir. Then at this point, I feel kind of bad for them. I think they can go home. Freedom!
You know what? This is pretty good, but there's one thing we don't have that's the most irritating thing every time.
What's that?
Parallel parking.
You're mean and I like it.
So somewhere, let's say, we can do one here.
How's that?
Pack.
Park.
And with this final devilishly frustrating obstacle in place, the course is complete. But before we find out if hell-raising tunes release inner driving demons,
Oh, wow.
it's time to hook back into the myth of killer carp. Silver carp are an invasive species, which not only pose a threat to native fauna, but also to water traffic. They have a habit of leaping out of the water when boats pass, and can jump as high as 10 feet. Question is, can a leaping 2-pound fish land a fatal blow on an unfortunate water skier? They've calculated the impact velocity of fish meeting face, lined up an anatomically correct water skiing target,
Hey, you want to be hit by fish?
and designed a boat-mounted fish flinger.
Yeah, that'll work fine. Fish delivery. Get your fish here.
Now to stock up on ammo.
I don't think it'd be right if we just bought hundreds of fish to fling at this target, so we're gonna make some. This is my template. I'm gonna saw it out, and then we'll make molds of it. I think my favorite part of working in the shop is model making. I used to do it all the time as a product designer, so doing it now kind of is like taking a trip back home. All right, done. Oh no, it's maybe. This is what you call a block mold. We have our master sculpt of a fish. It goes whoop into the box. We fill the box up with silicone, and then we'll have our mold. The first part we have to do is spray release on it, so when we do put the silicone on, it won't just stick to our master. Done. Oh boy. And now we just wait an hour or two until this sets. Be good. Well, now that we've easily removed the mold jacket from this block mold, I'm going to hopefully easily cut it open with this blade. Cut it. Cutting it in zigzags ensures that when I separate this mold, fill it with silicone, and squeeze it back together, it'll line itself right back up. Now I just have to tear this little fish out, clean up the inside of this, and we'll be ready to mass produce these fish.
And while the silicone sets in the mold, now it's rig building time.
It's the blacksmith and beard.
Oh, this is so smooth. Our final fish flinging rig is taking shape. Down here, I'll add some arms to attach our bungee cord to that stretches all the way back to the back of this cart, which houses our polycarbonate fish carrier. And we're all ready and all the rig is set up. We will, boom! Need to add a few more welds.
The plan is to progressively increase the power of the fish flinger by adding bungee cords until it hurls the 2-pound analog carp at 35 miles per hour.
Okay.
First, John manually tests the launch power of the carp catapult with 4 cords on each side.
In 3, 2, oh! Woo! Even with just 4 bands on this rig, I was only able to pull it back 2/3 of the way. And that, with all my fingers intact, I would say is a super successful test.
But before the fish begin to fly, the guys need to check an important detail.
We're just gonna put the fish rig on the boat, see how it fits.
Brian's custom built a swivel mount.
Okay, we're almost there.
It's like weight's coming off.
Yep.
And the fish flinger fits perfectly.
Oh, hello.
Don't point that at me, John. Well, there's only one question now, man. Can it actually shoot a fish?
Introducing our ultra-realistic slingshot test fish. It's exactly 2 pounds on the dot, and it's got all the physical properties, of a real fish.
Well, all but one.
One slippery fish.
The guys start with 5 bungee bands on each side of the catapult. And it's already so powerful, they need a winch to prime it. But how fast will it fling its fishy payload? The high-speed scale will reveal all.
5 bands each side. Fish fling rig test in 3, 2, 1.
It flung a fish, but I don't know if that's 35 miles per hour. We gotta look at the high speed and find out.
All right, so fish moves from here to here in how many frames?
By measuring the time it takes the fish to cross the 4-foot high-speed scale, the guys can calculate just how fast it's traveling.
Everything looks good.
So, does it match the 35-mile-per-hour impact velocity of the mythic carp?
You ready?
Yeah.
15 miles an hour.
I'm good, only 20 more miles per hour.
But before they refire the rig, they'll need to fix the damage caused by the carp cart.
Look at the stops, man. It hit with enough force to split those boards just into splinters. That's why I'm saying this is insane amount of damage.
And with extra bungee cords needed to fling the fish faster,
That is obscene.
the carp carriage will impact with even more force this time.
We've gone for 40 bands. Hopefully, this is way over the top.
Oh, you hear the winch?
Bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Hold.
Stop. Good. You feel safe?
Yeah.
Good.
We're pulling this thing in 3, 2, 1.
Well, if that didn't go 35 miles an hour, I don't think we can get it to go 35 miles an hour.
The good news is the flying fish actually slightly exceeds 35 miles per hour. But unfortunately, it's not all the fish flingers flung.
The fish is traveling incredibly fast, but the box that's carrying it is also traveling really fast. It exploded out of the cart.
This whole thing's getting destroyed up the front right now. I mean, that's a ton of energy.
So while the rig is calibrated to deliver the correct impact velocity, the flying fittings pose a very real safety hazard.
You know, it's not often working on MythBusters that you can see you may have taken an idea overboard, but I think this time we might have. I'm gonna have to dial this back a bit, and I think I have an idea.
Coming up, forget about the carp catapult.
Charging.
There's a new fish flinger in town. And it's a cannon. And the rock and roll road rage test drivers hit the tarmac.
That guy's a jerk. Jerk.
Brian and John are investigating the myth of rock and roll road rage.
Oh no, no, my oranges.
Get out of the road, Grandma!
I'm sorry, sir.
Can jamming out to aggressive music make drivers more aggressive behind the wheel? 5 unwitting test drivers are about to find out. They've been selected to represent the gamut of the motoring public and will navigate the MythBusters' devilishly frustrating driving course twice.
First, our drivers will do a control lap listening to calm music. Soothing.
After they complete the soothing course, we're gonna swap them over to something a little bit more aggressive. Makes me want to drive fast.
These tests we're doing are individual tests, so each driver gets compared to themselves. One calm music drive to one aggressive music drive.
How are we gonna determine if there's any difference in our drivers between their calm run and their aggro run? Woo! We're gonna look at 3 things. The first one is the time they take to run the course.
15 miles an hour? Who drives at 15 miles an hour? It's ridiculous.
We'll take a faster lap time as indicating a more aggressive drive. The second is a points-based system.
I thought we had 3 ducks. What happened to the last duck?
Kill a duck, get a point.
I may have rolled through that stop sign a little bit too excited there.
Roll through a stop sign, you get a point.
Look at that cone! That cone is right all up in my business.
Hit a cone, and you get a point.
Oh, I felt one.
The more points scored, the more aggressive the drive. The third and most important is gonna be the EEG. What we're gonna look for is those left brain frustration spikes.
Can someone help this old lady? It's a green!
We're gonna count them on each run and compare them so we can determine if there's a difference in frustration.
Having driven the course clockwise on their calm music run,
Here we go!
the test subjects will drive the course counterclockwise on their aggressive music run.
I actually quite like this.
So John's completed his aggro music lap.
Done.
But did he drive more aggressively and experience more frustration?
Well, he drove the course faster and incurred more penalty points on his second lap. His EEG also recorded more frustration spikes.
You're gonna bruise the apples!
So, maybe you did have some rock and roll road rage, John.
Well, maybe. But here's the thing. I knew the course, I knew what we were looking for, so really, my results don't count.
And that's why we have the volunteers.
But before the test drivers get behind the wheel, they have a task to complete.
All of our volunteers are going to go through Bill Scott's performance game. It's going to give us an individual frustration baseline. We'll then give them the test and see how that data matches up to the test data.
The performance game results show Andrew, Evelyn, and Khalik all have what's known as low frustration traits, meaning these three are likely to be calm drivers. Jill sits in the middle of the frustration spectrum, and Gary has high frustration traits. So these two are likely to be more prone to road rage. But will any of our drivers experience rock and roll road rage?
It's gonna be awesome.
All they've been told is to navigate the driving course from start to finish.
Let's do it.
It's time to turn on the tunes
Nice. This is beautiful.
and hit the road.
And he's off.
This music is horrible.
Hey, Brian.
Brian will follow our drivers to keep track of their progress. The first frustrating obstacles the drivers must negotiate: the toll gate and roundabout.
So go around the roundabout 3 times and I'll let you out over there at that gate.
Nice music they got. Louder than I would want it, but it's nice.
I'm not gonna lie, just observing her driving, she looks chill.
But not everyone's keeping it quite so frosty.
That guy's a jerk. Jerk.
And this is just the calm music.
Next, a natural road hazard: ducks crossing.
Lucky I like ducks.
Although not all our drivers are such animal lovers.
There's a duck down, John.
Boy, I ran over. Oh, okay, got it.
Just around the corner, our drivers must next attempt to reverse parallel park into a tight spot.
This is where I find out that I'm not good at parallel parking. No idea. Oh, am I hitting something? Is that what that feeling is? I hit something. I hit something. I hit something, didn't I? I hit something. Oh.
With repeated cone hits, that's gonna be 9 total cones at the parking.
You.
Yeah, I'd say she's a great New York City parker.
This music really is horrible.
And Gary's day is about to get even worse. Roadworks, featuring an impossible cone chicane.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
We have a solid 11 cones, I believe.
Our drivers must now stop at the traffic lights. And when they go green, watch out for Old Lady Surprise. Surprise! It's actually the MythBusters crew in drag. Oops.
Poor thing. She dropped all of her oranges.
I'd help, but I don't want to.
Okay. I'm gonna just go now.
And back to the beginning. Whoa.
You did it! Someone should tell her to stop!
So with all 5 drivers over the finish line, here's how they scored.
Remember, these results are only to set a baseline for each driver's aggression and frustration levels. So we can measure if there's any increase when they get back on the course and drive it again, but this time listening to aggressive music.
But they do show something interesting. Jill and Gary had the most and second most frustration spikes.
And of course, the performance game showed us it was those two that were most likely prone to road rage.
Will that make a difference when we bring the noise? We're gonna find out!
Coming up,
Oh, this music.
thrash metal is added to the motoring mix. So will the drivers keep their cool or lose their temper?
Now, why would you do that? Come on!
And meet the Carp Cannon, a myth-busting tool that's sure to be a blast.
1.
Can listening to aggressive music make drivers more aggressive behind the wheel? John and Brian have recruited 5 drivers to investigate if there's any truth behind the myth of rock and roll road rage.
Nice music they got.
So far, they've navigated a driving course listening to calm music.
You did it!
For the second test, our volunteers are gonna face the same course, but in reverse.
So even though the obstacles may be familiar to the drivers, the layout of the course won't be.
You ready to go again?
Will our volunteers' driving alter and frustration levels rise with a change of tunes? Let's crank it up and find out.
John, you set?
We are locked and loaded.
All right, here we go.
This is more like it.
This is really not my kind of music.
What music that is. My goodness.
She's approaching the construction site cones with a lot of confidence.
This is where they have no choice but to hit some of those cones.
There's these cones again. Who set these up? Obviously don't know how wide this car is.
He's already to the cones, and he's just plowing through. That's 1, 2, 3. Yep. He's definitely hit at least 6 cones on the way out.
She's actually quite calm and polite.
Wish I could get out there and help you.
She's sitting there very patiently waiting for this old man to pick up his apples.
Get out the way.
Come on, Gramps.
Oh, this music.
She should be approaching the parallel parking right now. She had a little trouble with that last time.
I feel like I don't fit in this spot.
The first cone and the second cone have been crushed in the parallel parking test.
Hard to tell where the cones are behind me.
I wouldn't call this a fantastic park job, Brian. I really wouldn't.
All right. Now let's get out of here.
And he's hit one cone flat out from the back, possibly some more in the front, but he's parked.
That'll do, right?
He's flying through this course.
Oh, it's a puppy. Aw. I want to run the puppy over, but I'm not. I'm not.
Who wants to run over a puppy?
Okay, cool. Now what? Huh?
3 times around and I'll let you out of that gate over there.
Okay.
I wish I knew the lyrics so I could sing along to this.
Feeling a little more confident. I think I can take it a little faster. Or maybe it's the music.
I think I'm on the home stretch here now.
With the test complete and tranquility restored,
We can turn that music off.
Thank you.
do our drivers think they suffered from rock and roll road rage on their second lap of the course?
I felt like I was Homer, actually.
I think I was a little bit more aggressive.
This wasn't my kind of music. It's more nerve-wracking. There's too much noise.
And how about the 2 drivers with higher frustration traits? These guys were more frustrated than the others on the calm music lap.
That guy's a jerk. Jerk.
So did angry music amp them up even more?
I was definitely calmer the first one.
I felt pretty hyped.
Pretty hyped.
Yes.
Do you think the music had an effect on it?
Oh yeah, that definitely had an effect on it.
I think it was the music.
So these two at least are rock and roll road rage believers.
Come on!
Oh, this music.
But will the test data back them up?
You! So what?
First, it's back to the myth of killer carp. Brian and John are trying to fling a fish at the impact velocity of the carp in the myth.
2, 1.
But their first rig hit a snag.
The fish is traveling incredibly fast, but the box that's carrying it is also traveling really fast. It exploded out of the cart.
It's awesomely powerful, but just too dangerous.
Maybe we should pare it back just a little bit.
Like what?
I'm thinking with pneumatics. This is the plan for our carp cannon. We have a pneumatically powered cannon with 2 air reservoirs and a huge barrel that will fit a fish and a plug to help push it out smoothly.
Got it?
Oh, I got it!
Yeah.
All this will mount to our aiming rig, which allows us to tilt and pan. That's mounted to the back of our boat, where Brian and I will, boom, fire a fish at our unsuspecting water skier at 35 miles an hour.
But before Brian and John take the carp cannon out on the water,
Always remember, when firing a fish, use plenty of lubricant.
they need to figure out how much air pressure is needed to propel a fish at this speed.
We're gonna start at around 60 PSI and try to dial this thing into the 35 miles per hour. 2-pound fish cannon test in 3, 2, 1. 2-pound fish cannon test in 3, 2, 1.
Fish hit the blast shield.
You think that's 35 miles per hour?
Let's check the high speed.
It's one fast fish.
I can't even tell what part of the fish is the front and what part of the fish is the back. It's just a blur of meat.
But was it fast enough?
No, that's 116 miles per hour. We might need to back it off a fair amount.
Yeah, just a bit.
By priming the carp cannon with less air pressure, the muzzle velocity of the flying fish should fall.
Let's give her a go.
The question is, by how much?
2-pound fish cannon at 40 PSI in 3, 2, 1. Still seems fast.
And the high-speed footage confirms the carp cannon's still firing hot.
At 60 PSI, we got 116 miles per hour. 40 PSI, we got 60 miles per hour. So next stop, 35 PSI, trying to get 35 miles per hour in 3, 2, 1.
That seems softer.
Seemed just about right.
And this time, the carp cannon's right on the money.
We did our test at 35 PSI, and surprisingly, we got 35 miles per hour. So 35 PSI is what we're gonna use to get 35 miles per hour on the water.
This is the boat that will be towing that houses our water ski buster while we try to nail him in the face with a bunch of fish. The problem is, when we have him in here in his skiing position, it's kind of unstable. I think this calls for some kind of boat stability rig. No. Something like this. One, put the other one here, and then outriggers. Plate, threaded rod. Threaded rod means that we can adjust the trim, so when the entire assembly's in the water traveling at speed, it'll be traveling at the right angle. I just have 2 more threaded rod on this side, followed by a kayak and more threaded rod. See what I mean? Kayak number 1, kayak number 2, structure in between to hold it all together.
It's a pretty nifty design, huh?
It's rock and roll road rage results time. 5 very different drivers have completed the MythBusters driving test. But did aggressive music increase their frustration levels and make them drive more aggressively?
All right, the data's in. We're gonna start with Andrew. Andrew's time remained about the same during his second run. We saw a decrease in his number of errors, but an increase in his number of frustration spikes. Up second is Evelyn, who took a slightly longer time on her second run, but decreased both her errors and frustration spikes.
Kalik, less time, same amount of errors, but then actually a dip down in frustration spikes. What do you think?
Andrew, Evelyn, and Kalik really didn't have any discernible difference in their data.
But Jill and Gary showed significant difference between the calm drive and the aggro drive. Jill had a faster time on her second run, actually a bump in her errors, and a way bigger bump in her frustration spikes. And then there's good old Gary with a dramatically faster second lap time, way more errors, and a pretty big jump in frustration spikes.
Neuroscientist Bill Scott's performance test pegged Gary and Jill as higher frustration personalities, and therefore more prone to plain old non-rock and roll road rage than the other three test drivers. And the course and EEG results seem to suggest this could be a factor when it comes to judging the plausibility of rock and roll road rage.
And based on Jill and Gary's results, I'm gonna have to say this myth is plausible.
Totally, but the other three drivers do suggest it's not 100%.
Right?
Rock and roll road rage is definitely a thing, but you're more likely to feel it only if you're predisposed to road rage.
I'm gonna go drive the course.
I'll play rock and roll. Wham!
Still to come.
Here we go! Loading fish!
Brian and John take final aim at the myth of Killer Carp.
3, 2, 1. Oh! Direct hit!
Brian and John have come to Lake Piru for the final test of the myth of Killer Carp.
Look at this place.
Beautiful, man.
According to this decidedly fishy tale, a leaping 2-pound fish hit a water skier in the face, breaking his neck and killing him instantly. To simulate the collision, the MythBusters have built a high-powered pneumatic cannon. So this day on the water's sure to be a blast.
Let's go put a cannon on a boat.
Let's do it.
Here's the plan for today. We're gonna rig up our pneumatic fish cannon to the back of our towboat.
Woo!
Towed behind it will be Buster with his anatomically correct head and neck. You ready for this guy?
Here we go.
Remember, when you go skiing, don't forget your head. We're gonna fire a 2-pound fish at 35 miles per hour at Buster's head. See what happens.
All right, safety first.
35 PSI.
Here we go.
This is the pressure required to fire a fish from the cannon at a muzzle velocity of 35 miles an hour.
There it is.
And because the cannon is traveling at exactly the same speed as water skiing Buster,
Here we go. Loading fish.
35 miles an hour will also be the impact velocity when fish meets anatomically correct face.
Ready?
All right, man. Take good aim. Here we go. 2-pound fish at 35 miles an hour. Firing in 3, 2, 1. Oh! Well shot, sir. Well shot.
The ballistic bottom feeder delivers a solid body blow. But remember, the collision in the myth was between fish and face.
We're not going to pull Buster into shore just yet to check his neck because we think the fish hit his chest and then bounced up. So we're going to reload and fire again. Ready?
Ready.
All right, 2-pound fish, 35 miles an hour at Buster's head. And 3, 2, 1. Oh!
Again, Buster takes most of the force of impact on his chest before the carp glances off his chin.
Fired a couple fish, but I don't think we've hit quite the right spot. We've been chest and right below the chin. We need one to the face.
You pretty much got it dialed in perfectly, just a little bit higher.
Right to the forehead?
Right to the forehead.
Right to the face.
3, 2, 1. Oh! Oh!
The replay reveals a devastating direct hit, the fish instantly rearranging Buster's fine features. In fact, it actually knocked some of them off altogether.
think I can see the damage from here. It looks like a piece of his face broke off.
Shooting fish out of this was a lot better than I thought. The 35 PSI gave us, give or take, that 35 miles per hour we're looking for, and the accuracy was fantastic. I think I'm the world champion precision fish shooter.
Back on shore, it's time to check if Buster's injuries are fatal.
He smells like fish.
Usually in EMS, we remove all your clothes to look for additional injury. In this case, we're removing the head to check out the neck. Pretty unconventional.
And also, I know it's broad daylight, but you can see that the glow stick inside is definitely broken.
Oh, yeah. Remember, we put that glow stick in the spine to look for any sort of injury to it. You can see it in two spots. The base of the cervical spine, it's absolutely crushed, and an internal decapitation at the base of the skull. He's not going to be skiing anytime soon, and I don't know if he's going to be living anytime soon.
So this seemingly fishy tale of killer carp may not be such a whopper after all.
We've done what we needed to do here to test that 2-pound fish hitting a skier going 35 miles per hour. But one wonders, if you have a bigger fish and the skier's going a little bit faster, what would happen?
Say hello to our 5-pound carp.
And 5-pound carp say hello to large bore pneumatic cannon.
In you go. Yeah.
Buster's redonned his skis and has a fresh head on his shoulders. But for how much longer?
3, 2, 1. Ooh! Oh! Okay. Holy moly. The back of his head might have touched the actual back of his body.
So if you're skiing behind a boat, fish jumps up and hits you in the face, I'd hope it's not 5 pounds. So, 2-pound fish coming out of the water 10 miles per hour, water skier going 25 miles per hour. What do you say?
I mean, your neck's definitely broken. You're toast.
Myth confirmed.
Confirmed. All right, Captain, let's get out of here. And watch out for those silver carp.
Oh man, they're everywhere.
Hey, how about sushi for dinner after this?
Sushi sounds good, man.